I'm not arguing, but we were kind of chatting, and then it started to turn into a slight argument because he was trying to tell me what was going on, and I'm telling him, no, I'm the captain. This is what happened. This is why it happened. We don't need to do this, and this is why you listen. And it just kept going and going from there. And then, of course, like I said, he was probably down there videoing. There's a reason why they knew to bring that phone up at that moment. You know.
Yeah, and they got the perfect sunglass flip up.
I don't give a I don't give a
I had just put my glasses back on from being thrown off the boat. I just put them back on, and then it comes right back off.
So good.
Half of these captains, talking about it or saying they would shut the motor off are flats guys. You're in cell phone range, by the way. It's not hard to get out of that situation. Get 30 miles offshore and see how hard it is to get out of a situation when the boat doesn't work. You know, you might be waiting for dark so you can shoot a flare off. Oh, the customer should have never been there. The slip. Let's talk about the slip.
I'm trying to think of all the comments I've read and like what people were saying, and I think we pretty much touched every point.
Reach in, grabs the rod, picks it up like this, and it goes right out his hand.
The rod did?
The whole rod.
The entire rod. Overboard with that kid. I'm like, there's my 10 million views. Take off.
How dare you throw that kid over?
They'll be like, are you going to go back and pick him up? It was a joke, right? I'm like, nah, he'll be fun.
Yeah, he's fun. It's done and over with. We did the apologies. We finished the trip out. He tipped me. I gave him fish, and he went home.
And then the video is all the aftermath, like just a little unnecessary. But
if you'd have seen the minute before, I think a lot more people would have been on my side off the rip.
We'll do some fishing together.
Did you see the Little John video?
I saw the Little John video. I need to play a clip of the Little John video.
I don't give a I don't give a I don't give a
Oh my god. My stomach was hurting, dude. I mean, the past day and a half, my stomach has just hurt from half of these responses to people making memes and...
Yeah, no one's ever made a meme of me. I'm a little jealous that you became a meme.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. Like, my stomach muscles literally hurt from laughing so hard at what these people can do on the internet.
Captain Chris, welcome to the show. For anyone that doesn't know, Chris and I, we've known each other for how long? 4 years, maybe longer.
Probably 5 by now.
Yeah, 5 years. We've done permit fishing. We've gone offshore on your yellowfin, done trolling, caught some big kingfish. Yeah, we have some pretty good videos from back in the day. Those were like my early videos. And then I see you got a little more internet famous than I did.
Oh, I guess people are just upset.
What brought you to the Keys? What brought you into Two Conchs and like?
Just fishing in general. I've been certified scuba since I was 13, and then just fishing my whole entire life. I mean, I wasn't even allowed to go fishing with my grandpa unless I got the scuba gear on, got under the boat, and scrubbed the boat at 12 years old, and then we could go fishing. So that was my daily, get in the water, clean the boat, let's go fishing.
I'm going to remember that. If I ever have a kid, I'm going to be like, before we go fishing, you're scrubbing the boat.
I told you.
My boat needs a scrubbing right now.
It teaches good lessons, man. Like, it just kept me out of trouble. You know, every weekend I was fishing, just to stay out of trouble. I just grew up fishing my whole life. Been around commercial guys, non-commercial guys, but coming down here, I came here simply because of the water quality. You can get in the water on a clear day and it's just incredible. So between the water quality, the fishing, it's fit my life very well. So I moved down here, and then along the line, I just ended up fishing and came across Jack and Two Conchs and decided that I wanted to fish a little more, and I ended up working with them. Yeah. Enjoyed every minute, up until then. And I've done thousands of trips that I did, or over 1,000 trips with kids, non-kids, everybody I've had on the boat from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Even if I wasn't doing a charter, I was still fun fishing. I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, you were always fishing. Yeah, because you'd be like, I got a charter, and then be like, but we can fish tomorrow. And I'm like, damn, so you're just going to fish on your day off.
Just fish, yep.
That's like Craig. Craig just fishes. He'll fish for like 2 weeks straight, and then he's like, I got a day off, want to go fish?
Yeah, I'm like, to fish on his own time all the time. Yeah. So that's great.
That's how it is in the Keys.
If you're not fishing, you're not you're just stuck on land, landlocked. I'd rather be out there diving, fishing, spearing, hooking. It's just the fun part of life.
Which brings us to the. If you guys are watching this and you don't know already, you got basically, I don't even know how to put this. You went viral.
Yeah, and of course the video goes on me instead of me doing the video.
Maybe I think the best way to maybe explain it would be everything starting from the beginning of the day to kind of like how that happened. Like, was it just like a normal day like any other day?
Yeah, I mean, you talk to people on the phone the night before every time, and you find out what they want to fish for, whether they want to eat stuff, they want to fun fish, what their day is in mind. And talking to them, I already knew that they weren't very experienced. It's just part of the deal. So we decided they wanted to do mahis, which is fine. So they show up in the morning, everything's good, everybody gets on the boat, everything's normal, just like any other trip. 2 kids on the boat, all right, no problem. And we start out.
So it was 2 kids, a husband and a wife?
Correct.
Just so 4 people?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's the max I run on that. That boat's only 26 foot, so you couldn't run 6 people on the 26, So we always cap it at 4, whether it's kids, adults, whatever. Yeah. So we start out that day, any normal day, we're heading out, and I don't know, probably an hour into the trip, maybe a little over an hour into the trip of heading out, I come across a pallet, and we stop and I hook a nice fish. We ended up losing that fish, but we hooked a nice fish, and everything was good. So we decided, once we lost that fish, the pallet's still around. I'm gonna go around and hit him again. So sure enough, we hook another nice one. We bring him to the boat, and now I got a nice school of mahis all around the boat. Like, all right, cool. Everybody's throwing bait. We got baits going out. All 4 people are hooked up, And during this process, they got lippy on a few things, like more like saying stuff a certain way to where it was kind of disrespectful, but just kind of roll it off, you know what I mean? Just like any other charter. At this point, I remember her saying something at one point like, "You need to go get his fish," or something like that. And I was like, "Well, we're gonna catch these fish."
So did she just wanted her son's fish in the boat, or
it seemed like,
even though her fish was ready to get gaffed?
Oh yeah, everybody's hooked up. So his fish, her son, is way in the front, and yeah, I'm guessing she wanted her son's fish in the boat first because it was for the pictures or whatever like that. But I worked my way all the way up to them because his fish is actually holding these fish around us at the time, Yeah,
you always want to keep a mahi in the water. Keeps the other mahi around.
100%. As soon as you pull that sucker out of the water, they lose interest and they are gone. So at this point, we had thrown a few, on the boat, in the cooler, whatever. And I ended up grabbing the dad's mahi. I got it in the back of the boat. And typically, all the people on the side of the boat, they stay in that area. The fish are here, we're worried about the fish, let's get the fish. Well, the guy decides to come along the side of the boat and with his camera, whether he needed a picture right now or a video right now or whatever. But, me, I try to get all the fish and then we'll go and worry about pictures. That way the fish hang around, you get what you can get, and then when they're gone, we'll take all the pictures. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I'm kneeling back on the back deck of the boat, right behind the leaning post. And he's coming up beside the leaning post with his phone, and I seen him, and on the side of the leaning post, he's good there. But at that time, as I'm starting to take this fish out, he had just moved over into the throttle area because he wanted to be right over me, I'm guessing. And
so he was trying to get the shot of...
I'm pretty sure he was trying to get a good shot of a picture or something, because his phone was in his hand at the time, I know it, and he was messing with it. So next thing you know, at this point, all I know is I'm unhooking a mahi, getting the hook out of his mouth. And then next thing you know, I have the motor cowling this far from my face. I get my hand planted to the center of the cowling. I'm already over the transom at this point, and over the transom and into the splash well. The swim platform is right next to the motor, because it's a center console. And as I'm holding on to the rear transom with one hand on the motor, basically like this, my head is literally probably 12 inches or 10 inches or so from the whitewash of a Mercury 400 at full throttle. Wide open.
Damn.
Just caught myself.
At least it probably sounded good.
Oh, I heard the woo!
Was that a supercharger in there?
Oh, you definitely heard it. And in the meantime, like, so I got myself pretty much caught and slowed down, and then was able to, you know, basically pull myself back up out of the splash well. I mean, we're still full throttle. You know, this is probably 5-6 seconds down the road that all this is so quick that we get up and we get the boat slowed down. I get up out of there, get the boat slowed down, and I look around and I see the kids are, you know, somewhat in a state of shock, like they don't know what just happened, but they're not hurt. Nobody's complaining about, you know, injuries. So I was like, so I looked at the other people, the dad and the mom, and they're not hurt. They're still looking in shock a little bit. So at this point, I wouldn't even say, I mean, I'm frustrated. I mean, slightly upset. I was a little upset. I know it's an accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is an accident. But at the same time, multiple times during this whole fishing excursion of messing with these mahis, I probably told them 4 different times to stay out of the helm area. This is, the throttles are here. Stay out of the helm area. Stay out of the helm area. So at this point, you know, I thought he had understood, you know, and let me say this. When I take kids on the boat, 10 out of 10 times, the kids listen way better than the adults will ever listen.
I will attest to that.
Ever.
I've taken kids out too, and parents, and I'll tell everyone, like, stop reeling the swivel in. They always get to the swivel and they reel it through the eyes, and I'll say it, and the kids listen to me and they don't do it anymore.
It only takes one shot for a kid. All you gotta do is tell them once and they understand.
And anyone that's like over like 25, 30 will reel the swivel in every time, and I'm like, why?
Especially if they're like, we're experienced fishermen, you know. It's just crazy. And that's one thing I wanted to make clear. Kids, I've taken hundreds and hundreds of kids fishing, and every single one of them has always listened to me. Whether they listen to their parents is totally different. But when I tell them something on the boat, they know they're on my boat. I just talk to them normal, and they listen. When they want to catch fish, they listen to how to catch the fish. The adults over here twitching lines and doing this, I'm like, you want to keep going. I tell them 3-4 times, and then I only help the kid. Once they realize that the kid's constantly catching and not them, they listen.
Yeah.
But either way, the kids listen way better than the adults ever will on a boat. There was zero anger, anything. There was zero everything towards the kids. Like, I didn't project anything towards the kids. What the kids heard, yeah, I'm sorry they had to hear that. I apologize that the kids had to hear that, but at the same sense, the guy needed to know how it was going. So let's go to where once I got up and the boat was slowed down and I realized everything's okay, everybody's okay, you know, I decided that I was talking to I'm talking to the dad and explaining to him how dangerous the situation is. My voice is very little raised, you know, maybe a little bit. It's not wide open. It's just a little bit like, hey man, you can't be doing this stuff, you know, and I'm having choice words with him at this point. You know, I might say shit, can't, you know, whatever words I said at the time didn't necessarily matter about the kids because the guy just did not listen. The guy was not listening.
And the camera wasn't recording it this time. Or maybe it was, but
it probably, I'm sure she had it down there on her thing and she was probably just videoing her feet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm telling the dad, hey man, you can't be doing that. This is why you do it. This is what happened. You almost killed me. This isn't going to work. If I wasn't killed, I could have been injured. Like, this is why we don't want to do this. And this is why you need to listen to me. You know, you have to do what I tell you. Otherwise, we can get stuck in that same situation. And at this time, the whole time I'm trying to explain that, and it happened. This is the 2 minutes leading up before the video, right after it happened. And I'm just explaining to him, hey, you can't do this. This is why you can't do this. You know, you almost killed me. You almost killed me. His response the entire time was, oh, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. And I just, hey man, it's a big deal. You can't just go sit on the throttle, dude. It's a big deal. You went wide open. It's, you know, and he's the whole time, no big deal, no big deal. So at this point, I mean, yeah, he's just not listening to me. And I could tell he's not listening to me. And then he decides to tell me, now you listen to me. And at that point, he starts to say something else. And then you hear me fire up. The whole I don't give a was because of what he said just after he told me, now you listen to me. As if this is his boat, he's the captain, and I'm going to listen to him.
Yeah.
And now, at that point, I knew that I needed to take control of the situation. Without physical, without any of that, without talking, without, back and forth bickering, I took control of the situation. Now, the response to that, if you hear in the video, is he completely submits. Him, the wife, they all submit and shut up, which means that you don't let somebody yell at you in that manner. If you're in the right, you're going to be yelling back 100%. You're not just going to sit there and take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he's in the wrong, he's going to sit there and take it because he's realizing. And that's why you hear him say on there, okay, you made your point. Well, I was trying that for 2 whole minutes. 2 whole minutes before I just trying to.
So like you had to make the point a lot louder until you made the.
If I didn't have to, I only go as far as I need to go for them to understand. Hey, it's my boat. I'm in control here.
Yeah.
Let's just take. You just got to do what I say when I say it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can be very dangerous out there. You never know what's going to happen. You're miles and miles and miles offshore. Things happen. So at that point, you see the video kick on, which is why you just instantly see the explosion and not beforehand because it was edited out. You know what I mean? So at this point...
Yeah, because you were telling me, you were explaining to him how dangerous it was, and he was...
And why it was that dangerous.
And why it was dangerous, and he was basically telling you, it's okay,
it's
don't
not,
worry about it.
It's not dangerous. It's no big deal. It's not dangerous. It's not a big deal.
And I guess they were filming the whole time, but none of that. They kind of took the part where you blew up.
Yes.
And they were like, bam, that's the
100%. 100%. And that's
the part everyone wants to watch anyways.
Of course. That's the drama.
Now you're a famous Lil Jon.
I do want to say that anybody out there supporting me in all this and seeing through the BS of a 30, 45 minute video, I appreciate you. 100% I appreciate you. So,
and there's thousands of comments.
It's
millions of views, thousands of comments. Did you
it's wild.
What's it like to go from just your normal life to all of a sudden being TikTok famous, Facebook famous?
This stuff's exhausting. Trying to keep up with it. It's just been a wild ride so far with all the comments of what you can do, what you would do if it was you and your kids, if this, if that. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. It's a very opinionated world out there today. But after all, I mean, and I told him I'm taking them in. What gets me the most about this whole situation is this was August 7th, this trip. Mm-hmm. He posted this video August 15th or 16th. So it was 8 days.
Yeah, so he posted the video way after it happened. And I want to bring up the point too that this outburst that they videotaped happened at 9:38.
I remember seeing my clock going, I'm heading to shore. It was 9:38 in the morning. And I said, well, we haven't even completed a 4-hour trip, so they're going to get their money back. I'm just going to run them back to shore.
Yeah, so this all happened early in the morning on a 6-hour trip. Then that happened. You started heading back.
Correct.
And then you came out of the tower, and then you guys basically...
Yeah.
He apologized.
We started heading back, and I jumped up in the tower. I was getting away from them. Let's let this settle. I started riding in. I probably got a couple miles in, and I realized, I probably should have a drink for this ride. So I slowed the boat down, and I jumped down, and I grabbed me a drink. And in the process, as I'm basically going back up the tower, he said, he's apologizing. And at this time, he apologized to me probably several times. And I said, I apologized right back to him. I said, look, man, I'm sorry. I never do I want to do that in front of kids. But I can tell you, you were just not listening to me. You were not understanding what I was saying, and I asserted myself in order to take control of that situation. all that was doing was, letting the guy know that this is my boat, this is my rules, and this is how it's going to happen. He could easily hurt his kid. Imagine if his kid would have went off the side or into the transom or something. I'd be the bad guy.
Yeah, that's true. Then you'd really be the bad.
And then I'd be, especially if anybody got hurt in the whole situation, and it wasn't just me, it was about the kids and how they could easily just got hurt as much as I bashed my knee flying over the transom. Everybody wants to
your
say,
knee is like incredibly screwed up and bruised, and you're all scarred up. So like you got beat up pretty good.
It was swollen it's still a little bit swollen, but it was really swollen, for.
So you must have had a lot of adrenaline
2 weeks.
rushing through you when that happens.
Yeah, and I've had lots of adrenaline dumps, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not freaking out because he threw me into the motor and literally, like, put my face this far from whitewash that I just happened to catch myself, because if I didn't catch myself, I was going right between the swim platform and the motor.
Yeah, and that would...
Right between it.
That would have felt good.
And it's not like the boat was already on a plane to where if I went off the back, the boat just kept going. When that boat gets first going on a plane like that, all that white water is going under and into
all
the
that
motor.
cavitation.
That cavitation is going down and into the motor. So if you go off the boat when the boat gets first slammed into full throttle and all that cavitation's happening, you're going into the motor, not away from the motor. So that, I think it's funny how everybody has opinions about the whole situation. What they would do, what they wouldn't do, how they would have handled it.
Yeah.
On the way back in, after he apologized and I apologized to him, he's like, I think we can, I was like, are you going to listen to me from this point on? And he's like, yeah, we'll listen, if we, let's just stay calm and we want to finish out the trip. And I was like, are you sure you want to finish out this trip? And he looked at his family and asked him if they want to finish out the trip. I didn't look at what they said to him, but he looked at me and said, yeah. And I said, all right, man. I said, we'll squash it and we'll run about our game again, So I still have 4 hours left of this trip, maybe even 4.5 hours or something. It was like 4 hours solid of this trip.
So you guys kept fishing, had a good time, caught some fish?
I turned back around. I went right back over to the area. I lost the pallet at this point, but at this point I found the area again.
So you find frigates, you find a pallet, that's where the mahi are.
With a little bit of weeds around. It didn't take a whole lot.
A little bit of weeds.
The frigates really gave it away. They were the ones that allowed me to find that pallet.
Okay, you find a couple
I followed
frigates.
the frigates and was looking at, trying to figure out what they were seeing, and then all of a sudden I come across a pallet floating, bait all over the place. I realized nobody had been to it yet today, so we started fishing it. But I just turned the boat around and decided to head back out to where we were catching our fish in the area and started working it again. I'm pretty sure we ended up with 5 or 6, 7, 8 mahi. We ended up with quite a few mahis at the end of the day,
Yeah, and you said you guys had good rest of the day fishing. You went back to the dock, you filleted the fish.
I can tell you one thing. They listened very well the rest of that trip. 100%, dude. I didn't have a single smart remark. They did exactly what I said. Stop reeling. They stopped reeling. It was just like, oh wow, the trip went like normal. This is. And I told him, I said, this is how the trip should have went. Had you listened from the get-go, our trip would have been even better the whole time. Yeah, and then so at that point, I remember the wife asking him, "Are you happy?" And he says, "Yeah." I remember hearing that because we had just caught like a 12 to 15 pounder, and he was all happy about it. So, we got our pictures or whatever. I took pictures of the kids on the boat and everything. And then at the end of the day, it was 2:00 in the afternoon when I headed back to the dock. And I get back to the dock, I pull onto the thing. And at this point, I was like, I was just like glad that I was able to save the trip, finish it out, caught fish. People are smiling. It seemed like it ended on a good note to me. I pull onto the lift. Before I even shut the motor off, the dude hands me $200 cash. Says, "Hey man, even with the incident earlier, here you go. Thanks, man. I appreciate it." Oh, okay, cool. At this point, I didn't even expect any tip. And I hadn't even gotten off the boat yet to even mess with the fish.
Yeah.
So we get off the boat. We go onto the dock. Take pictures of the fish and everything. They're smiling, having a good old time. I filleted the fish, handed the bag, and shook my hand and said, "Have a good day."
Have a good day. Like
it was
like
a normal trip,
like a normal trip,
and with nothing that happened, you know. And the thing that gets me is yes, 100% I felt bad yelling at a guy in front of his own kids. Would I ever want to do that? Absolutely not. Not in 1% of me wants to even ever yell at a guy in front of any kids, more or less his own kids. But when all that happens and he's not listening, I mean, once I got out of that splash well, he was arrogant, he was disrespectful, he seemed like he was privileged. You know, it was like the arrogance in this guy is what started to fuel like, yo, no, this is how it's gonna go from here. You know, it's not gonna work. You know, you gotta listen. And that's where it boiled down to. Would I want to do that in front of kids? Never. Never, 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 never. My goal is always the same thing. Every kid that enters my boat, I want either 99% of the time they're gonna have a great time, and I'm gonna hook them on fishing. That's the goal. Hook a kid on fishing for life. I only got to take them out once, have a great trip, and they're hooked for life. Yeah. Whether they fish every day is different, but they're hooked for life.
Oh yeah, that was like me when I was a little kid. You catch your first fish and you're like
100%. You know, we do kids fish camps. Yeah. It's all kids on the boat. All kids. Everybody has a great time. We have pictures and videos of the kids having great times. Never have I ever had to yell at a kid, and I never will yell at a kid.
Yeah. And you rescued kids.
I rescued the
refugees,
the Cubans.
Yeah.
You know, I rescued the divers that their boat lost them and was miles away from them. It's crazy how people are so quick to judge in society.
Yeah, I think there's two things in this recipe that really made it blow up. The first was that there was a kid involved. Anytime 100%. There's a kid involved, people like freak out.
100%. 100%.
Which you showed me a funny comment about the guy that was like, man, when I grew up, the charter captains were always cussing and yelling and
you wouldn't survive. You won't make it you wouldn't have never made it in the 90s with my dad.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've gone fishing with some old school people, and I'm like, if you watch your video, you only have like a real outburst for like maybe 10 seconds of that video.
Yeah, otherwise it's a calm. I was not even half as mad as that or half as loud as that. I just saying cuss words. That was it.
And it didn't get physical.
No,
you know?
No.
And I personally witnessed a lot worse than that.
Oh, dude. Anybody who's been on a boat at all for any given amount of time is going to witness something.
Yeah, which makes me think like a big part of the reason that it blew up so much is because it was the Two Conchs name is involved, and there's like a lot of people
there's already
jump on that like
100%.
It's like people smell blood in the water and they come like sharks.
Instant.
Like, oh, finally we can talk trash about Two Conchs.
Looking for anything. 100%.
And then,
but you're not going to be. You're not doing something right without the people that are out here hating on you. You know, it's just part of the culture. It's part of life.
I can post like the most mellow video of me like taking my boat by myself to the Patries, catching a couple fish, coming back, and I will have comments that are just talking about me, and I'm like, what did I do? That was so bad. It's like,
that fish is too small, or that fish is not good.
Yeah, like I'll keep like a 14-inch snapper. They only got to be 12 inches, and they're like, how dare you keep such a small fish? Like, people like you ruin the world. And I'm like, damn, like I just wanted dinner.
Yeah, I just wanted some meat. That's just too funny.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing that really gets me at the end of the day is just simply how the guy decided to continue his trip, asked if we could continue the trip. We continued the trip. Everything went completely fine. I had no inclination that he was going to be devious in any way of trying to show something on the internet in a bad light like that, you know. And on top of not only fishing 4 hours longer than the hour and a half I started with, but you gave me money. Like, why would you even... That's what told me I did good.
Yeah, you got the tip.
I got the tip, which I had to fight. I mean, I had to not fight, but I had to work really hard to get to that point again, because he could have easily got off the boat, gave me nothing, and that was the end of the day. You know?
Yeah, I've been trying to wrap my head around that too. Why you guys would finish out the day on good terms. You know, I've had people on my boat where, you know, you butt heads with someone and then for 30 seconds and then you're like, all right, sorry, like we lost that fish. It was a bad gaff. Like someone's like, my bad, that was my fault. And it's like it never happened. You move on.
100%.
Because tensions are always high on a boat. You know, you got waves. You're way offshore. Some people are seasick.
Adrenaline kicks up
you're
with
hot.
a good fish.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes people are drinking. Like,
oh, there's a lot of drinking.
yeah. So
those are the ones you gotta watch out for. They go overboard on accident. You don't even do nothing. They just fall overboard.
I had a girl once. We were running, and she saw dolphins while we were running, and she just jumped off the boat to catch the dolphins and like blew her bathing suit off and everything. I'm like, oh my god!
How do you control that?
Yeah, like.
You saw that coming?
No, I did not see it coming.
Oh God! Imagine that.
Yeah, just weird things happen out there.
It's wild.
And you're also stuck on this tiny little floating vessel in the middle of nowhere.
With not many people around a lot of times.
Yeah.
Which gets me on the next thing that I wanted to mention, which was why you should be shutting your motor off after you catch every time you catch a fish.
Yeah, that was one of the big comments I said. Like
it happens. I don't know if they're just non-offshore fishermen or if they're just weekend fishermen, but I don't know of anybody that would shut their motor off. Matter of fact, let's just say this: the cardinal rule for offshore fishing, the number one rule is never shut off the only motor you have on the boat because it's a single engine. Not only you do not shut off the only motor on the boat because it might not start, but that's the only way to shore. Like, why would I want to cut the thing I'm heading to shore? If my batteries are low, there's this many reasons why that motor might not start back up.
Yeah.
So why would I cut the only way for me to get back to shore off for a fish? You know, that's like saying, you know, the tarpon guys that are out catching tarpon, they pull off of their anchor, start the motor, start driving around to catch a fish. They get the fish to the boat and they start grabbing it to get the hook out. Are you shutting your motor off every time?
No,
not that I know of.
I don't think they should. Yeah, no, they don't shut their motor off.
You don't shut your motor off.
And it's also different when you're anchored. You can shut it off because
all day long.
You're anchored. You're not drifting out in the middle of nowhere. 100%. When you're offshore chasing mahi,
600, 800 feet of water. Your motor conks out. You're not throwing your anchor overboard to catch it.
Yeah, and and then that's a whole different array of problems.
Now you have to figure out how to get somebody's attention. It can be very daunting. Half these people telling you to shut an engine off, we should put them offshore 30 miles with no engine running and the engine won't start and tell me how they feel.
Yeah. When I go sword fishing 30, 35 miles offshore, my engine's running the whole time.
No doubt.
I never turn my engine off offshore because then just that anxiety of having an off engine and being please start.
100%. If that motor goes off and I'm offshore, I'm praying this thing starts every single time.
Yeah.
Praying. Like, oh God, I hope nothing's wrong. Okay, good, let's go. I don't want to do that 20 times a day just because I caught a fish. It doesn't make no sense to me, you know. Oh, the customer should have never been there. The slip. Let's talk about the slip. He slipped on a wet floor, is what he says, and he bumped into the throttle. So these boats are super dry boats.
It's a yellowfin.
It's a yellowfin. They are dry. Now the 20.
Damn, we should get paid by yellowfin for saying this.
Right.
Yellowfin, come on.
Inshore boat, the inshore yellowfins, the scuppers, they get a little water in them because they sit low in the rear. The 26 on up are super dry decks. The only way it's getting water on there is if it's being thrown over by waves or you're putting the water on there yourself. And for him to say he slipped and went full throttle, it's just beyond me because I've never in my life ever been around anybody or on any boat that they accidentally went full throttle because they slipped and grabbed the throttle and went full throttle. You got to go forward. Most people, if you slip and grab the throttle, it's going to go reverse. It's not going to go into forward because you're trying to catch yourself going down, not catch yourself falling into the dash, Mm-hmm. It was a calm day, half a foot seas, you know what I mean? So I just don't even get. I mean, I get where he says that. He says that just trying to justify him putting this video up that got edited. Where if you would have seen 10 seconds or 15 seconds before that video and how disrespectful and arrogant he was being towards me and what he was saying, you would understand where I went. Like it's edited for a reason. So I don't get that mad, especially fishing. I mean,
we've always had a great time.
I lose fish all the time. Oh well, let's go catch another one. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Most of the time, the people, if they mess it up and lose a fish in any way, shape, or form, I just say, all right, well, we're gonna go catch another one. I mean, it is what it is. You know.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world if I don't get this fish because I'm gonna go find another one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a little overwhelming that people can go to the extent of saying things like that, but they've never been in that situation, number one. They've never had their face this far from whitewash on a 400 Mercury at full throttle.
Yeah, well, that'll put you in the heat of the moment. And I know, like, coming from YouTube, I know how people are in the comments, and it's kind of ridiculous, but has anyone ever said anything to you, like, in person about it? Like, that was like, oh, you shouldn't have done this or that, or like...
Absolutely not. Everybody has called me in total support of me.
Yeah, and I noticed the same thing on my videos. Like, I get a lot of people that talk, down on me or say crazy things, or people that are like, I'll beat you up if I see you in public. Like,
yeah,
someone
all of a sudden they're turning a physical.
Yeah, and in the 7 years I've been doing this, not one single time has anyone ever come up to me in person and actually said something to me.
Right.
So it's like...
That wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't, oh, hey, man, good job.
Yeah.
We watch you, good,
So I think it has a lot to do with, like, man, online, it's like everybody comes out and will say the crazy...
Like you said, blood in the water.
Blood in the
Here
water.
comes the sharks.
People jump on it. Everyone's got an opinion.
You know what I like is when these dads come in here and they try to put themselves in this situation and say, you would never talk to me in front of my kid like that. I'd effing throw you over the boat. I'd effing beat your ass and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, do you not realize the kids are watching these comments? There's just as many kids reading this comment as you're telling me that I should have never talked to in front of a kid like that anyways, but you're talking in front of the kids like that. There's not just adults only reading these comments.
Yeah.
And
what's the other thing you said? Like, and then you're like, well, would you do that to the throttle? Like, would you kick the throttle? And they're like, no, yeah. They know not to.
Most dads say, you wouldn't talk to me in front of my kids like that. Well, would you have gone into the throttle area and hit it? I mean, most people with common sense knows to stay away from there, especially after being told 4 times to not go in this area. Yeah. This is my area. This is the captain's area. You need to stay out of it. I mean, how much more clear do you have to, like, tell somebody? How many times do you have to tell them till you're blue in the face before you finally tell them to gain control and understand that they finally understand that what you're saying? It just, if you hear in the video, he literally goes completely submissive. The whole time he's arguing with me, and all of a sudden now I get loud with him and he goes submissive. I would have, if he was in the wrong or if he was in the right, I would expect the explosion back from him, but he didn't. He went to submissive. He understood what I was talking about. That's why you hear him saying, okay, you made your point. Okay, well, I did that for about 2 minutes. Tried to make my point for 2 minutes before you finally got yelled at. And I'm sorry your kids had to hear it. But I felt like I was yelling at a kid because he was so hard-headed he didn't want to listen. I'm an adult. Talking to an adult, I should be able to talk to him like an adult. But when you act like a kid, you're going to get treated like a kid, especially on a boat in a dangerous situation. 90%, let's just say 90% of these captains out there would do the exact same thing I did in that situation, being lipped back at it,
Yeah, I can see it too. Like, if I was to accidentally bump the throttle and put it all the way in, you go over the transom, almost go in the engine, I would feel so bad. I would just be like, I'm sorry. I'd be like, bro, like, I'm sorry, dude.
I did not mean that in any way, shape, or form.
I would be,
and then you just kind of take it.
Yeah, I would take it. I would just be like, all right, I'm like, yeah. Like,
I know I'm in the wrong.
Yeah.
Let me just sit here.
I wouldn't be like, bro, you gotta like chill out. Like, you gotta understand.
Yeah. I mean, he was just kind of, and it's not even like he was like, chill out or anything. He was just like completely arrogant, like, the responses from these, and but to be honest with you, I feel like at the end of the day, that family talks to people like that on a daily basis. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they felt like they were privileged, because I feel like they might not realize they disrespect people by the way they talk to them, but they do. He may not have been trying to be disrespectful to me, but he was. So, and
that's understandable too. I know people like that are very disrespectful, but that's just who they are.
100%. And I was letting it roll off and roll off and roll off. I let it roll off all the time. But once he put me in a serious situation, and then continued to be like that, that's where the video came out. So, am I sorry I yelled at him? No. Would I do it again if I had the same exact situation and circumstances? Probably. Very much so. But if
you just want to go viral again.
if I told these kids, if I could have told these kids to go in another room so I could discipline their dad, I would have. But either way, the dad needed to hear what he needed to hear in order for him to understand and comprehend the situation we were in. Just plain and simple, I feel like, oh, you should regret this, regret that. Dude, I did what I had to do to take control of the situation in the boat at the time. I don't regret it.
Yeah, it's just...
I feel bad and I'm sorry that the kids had to hear it, 100%. But the dad, for the situation they were in, what the kids hear is irrelevant to me making my point to this father. I mean, these people think that these kids' ears are virgin ears, but yet you go on the internet in any way, shape, or form, a video game, chat rooms, whatever. These kids are on all these things, and there's no censorship. Let them go. Any game that these kids play, people cuss in it. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Or kids cuss in it. It's just part of life, and you're never going to control that. So for people to say these kids should have never heard that, or they've never heard something like that in their life, well, I'm sorry to bust your bubble, but they definitely hear it, if not on a daily basis.
And let's say you would have kept your cool, not said anything about it. You all would have kept fishing. There's probably a good chance it would have happened again.
Or he would have he would just been more demanding, more rude about it, more, I felt like I took care of the situation and put him in his place, and that's what happened, and that's what needed to happen. And from then on out, I didn't have a single issue with the guy. I didn't have an issue with him. I didn't have an issue with her, and no issue with the kids the rest of the 4 hours.
And so people know, like, when you're a captain of a boat, you are legally responsible for the safety of everyone on that boat.
Including yourself. 100%.
So you kind of have to, if you see a situation that's like could result in someone getting hurt or killed, you kind of like have to at least say something. And
that's what I'm saying is a lot of people say, I would have handled that differently. Well, what about when the guy starts being disrespectful back towards you? Like, it just wasn't making sense to me, how these people can justify the guy. They're not even justifying the guy. They're just saying that this is what happened. There's no reason to yell at him. Well, there was a reason. Not only did I come out of the motor in the splash well, but also now he's trying to be completely disrespectful, rude, arrogant, privileged. His responses are what led to that response, not him throwing me in the motor. Do you get what I'm saying? That was just a little bit of it. That wasn't the biggest deal about it. It was him trying to act like this is his boat, he's the captain, and he's going to tell me how it is. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry.
Because that video wasn't like right after it happened. That was like a minute or two after.
It was probably, we were arguing. I'm not arguing, but we were kind of chatting, and then it started to turn into a slight argument because he was trying to tell me what was going on, and I'm telling him, no, I'm the captain. This is what happened. This is why it happened. We don't need to do this, and this is why you listen. And it just kept going and going from there. And then, of course, like I said, he was probably down there videoing, and then all of a sudden, there's a reason why they knew to bring that phone up at that moment,
Yeah, and they got the perfect sunglass flip up.
I had just put my glasses back on from being thrown off the boat. I just put them back on, and then it comes right back off.
So good. It's so good.
It was pretty wild.
You should be the
most of this I'm laughing at.
I don't give a F charters.
I think we should do Cursing Chris's charters. Captain Cursing Chris.
Captain Cursing Chris. That sounds pretty good. Like, you'll be like the new Mark the Shark.
Yeah, everything's pretty wild, you know. I'm just putting my side out there because too many people are jumping the gun. Anybody that understands or realizes in any way, shape, or form, they're going to understand that a captain is never going to act like that unless given reason to. I mean, for the most part, I kind of just chuckle and laugh at how many, you know,
yes, you read all the comments.
Yeah, how many people know what they would have done, know how to do this, know how to do that, got to do this. Oh, you got to have a mate. Wow, I can't believe you don't have a mate. I mean, I've ran thousands of trips with no mate. Or let's say 1,000 trips, no mate at all. And then I have one incident happen where a guy was just, I mean, it's a 1 in 1,000 charters for a captain, or 1 in a couple thousand charters that a captain will typically come across at some point in their career. You know, it just happened to be, you know, they happen to get video of this one.
Yeah.
You know how many guys have told me, I've cussed customers out way worse than that, but they didn't get no video of me.
Well, or even like back to Mark the Shark, he like literally will call dudes like dirtbags
on the video
in front of their kids and stuff, and everyone thinks it's funny. So it's just like,
but I'm the bad guy here. Let me be the bad guy.
oh man,
it's just wild, you know.
Classic. That's social media for you.
100%.
It's like
100%.
Yeah, people love the drama, and like I get that too. Like if you look at the comments on your videos, like people are like fighting each other in the comments. Like you don't even have to say anything anymore. You just let the other people fight for
they're
you.
defending me, and I appreciate every single one of you defending me. I promise I appreciate you 100%.
Yeah, that's great. And so what now? What's the next step? Any plans? You're relaxing for a few days?
Yeah, I'm definitely relaxing. I mean, I'm taking it easy at this point. Just fold out and do its own thing or whatever. However it's going to fold out. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. We fished on. They got good pictures. They're smiling in their pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, who in their right mind would get yelled at and then smile in a picture that I took of them? It just...
it all seemed like it worked out pretty well. And then post the video.
And that's another reason I was going to say is that's why he didn't post it on the 7th or on the 8th or on the, you know, a day or so right afterwards. He made it a week or 8 days before he decided to post this, you know.
I wonder if he knew that it was going to go so viral. He must have known on some level.
He would have known that he would get some attention.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have thought he would have got this attention. There's a ton of people that are just all over the guy about this, you know. Just like they jumped on me at the very beginning, they're still on him, you know. And it's what goes around comes around, you know. I love fishing. I take people. I have hundreds of repeat customers all the time, with kids, without kids. So at the end of the day, I'll be fine. Everything will work out.
Easy peasy. You know, we'll do some fishing together.
Did you see the Little John video?
I saw the Little John video. I need to play a clip of the Little John video.
Okay! Whoa! Okay! I don't give a f***. I don't give a f***. I don't give a f***.
Oh my god. My stomach was hurting, dude. I mean, the past day and a half, my stomach is just hurt from half of these responses to people making memes and...
Yeah, no one's ever made a meme of me. I'm a little jealous that you became a meme.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. Like, my stomach muscles literally hurt from laughing so hard at what these people can do on the internet.
Yeah, you never know what they're going to post next.
You never know.
Yeah, so now it's just...
Maybe we should go fishing soon.
Yeah, we should go.
I got some time off, I think. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got some time off for a little bit.
Yeah, some time off,
some needed time. I'll take it as needed time.
Hey, it's like a vacation.
I'm good with it. I'm awesome with it. I'll take the time off.
Yeah, relax, read some comments.
Go float in the water or do something.
Yeah,
it is lobster season. Maybe I need to go get some dinner.
I want to take you to the sandbar and just have you yell at a bunch of people and videotape it.
Oh my god, right. Oh,
and we'll play the Little John song. Blast it.
Oh my god. Oh. I can't believe how many people are just so opinionated about this whole thing, but that's why it's doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna say what they say.
That's usually how it goes. Like, for something to go viral, usually has to be pretty controversial. So, like, for me, all my videos that are, like, my top videos is usually me doing something very stupid where I'm like, I shouldn't post this, but I know it's going to do well. I'm like, I look like an idiot, but...
Oh, man. That's what they want.
That's what they want.
That's what they want. They're eating this up like crazy.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I needed to get my side out there and let people know there's like, you didn't go over the transom. He's not wet. Luckily, I'm not wet, but I definitely went over the transom.
Yeah, if you would have been wet, that means you probably would have.
I would have, I mean, my arm or something. I mean, somehow I was going to be hit by something in that situation. You know, it was just, all you do is just see the situation coming at you. And it happens so fast that, you know, it's almost like slow motion. You know, when your adrenaline kicks in at that, you know, everything turns slow motion for a second. It just happened to be when I was just about at the water, you know. All of a sudden everything went so slow. I got my hand on there and I was just able enough to hold on. But thankfully everything worked out. You know, had the guy got up and said, "I'm sorry, you know, I didn't mean it. It's my fault. I won't go there anymore." Thank you, man. Obviously you understand now.
Yeah.
But it didn't go that way. You know, it went to where he wasn't in the wrong in any way, shape, or form. He should have, you know, it's not like he shouldn't have been there. Yeah, you shouldn't have been here. I told you not to be here, and you're still here. You know, you can tell people till you're blue in the face on some people, and they just will never get it.
Yeah.
Never get it.
For me, that's always the reeling in the swivels. And then I have to fix all my rod tips.
The eyes and the tips.
Every time. Like,
knocks the ceramic right out of the eye.
Yeah. Every time I take people fishing that don't normally fish, it's like every time the swivel gets reeled in, I'm like,
or the fish is this far from the tip. You know,
oh, yeah.
Little yellow tails all the way to
and
the
then
tip.
the rod tip is like, and you're like, oh shit! I was like, that's a nice rod. Hold on, you're gonna snap it.
These setups are like $400 or $500, people. You know, they're not cheap. But even then, I had a guy the other day. Matter of fact, it's funny because we went out and did the tunas. Had a kid on the boat. He was probably, he was later teens, probably 17, maybe 18-ish. Him and his dad on the boat. And we're out there doing the tunas. And the rods go off. You know, anytime the rod goes off and a customer hasn't been in that situation, like their adrenaline spikes.
Yeah, they're like,
oh my God, you know, and I had told the guys, hey, there's no rush to these rods. Like when they go off, let's go in slow.
You're in gear. They're hooked.
Right.
They're hooked.
That rod started screaming, and I looked back, and before I could say anything, the kid was reaching and grabs the rod, picks it up like this, and it goes phoop, right out his hand.
The rod did?
The whole rod. The entire rod.
Oh my God.
I just kind of went like this, and I was like, oh my God. The dad's like, oh, don't worry about it, son. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. And I look at the dad. The dad's like, oh, don't worry about it, son. I'll pay for it. And then I look at the kid. The kid's beating himself up over it. Like, man, I can't believe I just did that, you know. And if the kid had acted like it was no big deal, I would have said, hey, man, it is, you know, I told you not to do that. You just got to listen to what I say. But he said, oh, man, he's beating himself up over it about the rod. And I said, hey, man, yeah, it's all good, dude. Your dad's going to pay for it anyways. Don't sweat it. Like, it's all good, bro. I don't got to sit here and try to get the money out of you. He's already said he's going to give it to me. You're good. Don't worry about it. Let's keep going. Finished out the trip. He gave me the money for it. No bickering, no nothing. He just said, hey, man, take them, you know, however much it is, take it off there. And $560.
Damn.
Yeah, boy, them setups aren't cheap.
Yeah, I know.
Them setups are not cheap.
They're not cheap at all.
And it was only 2.5 weeks old, maybe. I had just got the setup probably 2 weeks earlier.
Brand new line.
Yeah, I probably used it once.
Damn.
I was like, of course that's the rod that goes over. The newest rod on the boat.
I know. That's...
But I mean, the kid was beating himself up over it, and I just told him, hey man, there's no reason to beat yourself up over it. It happens. It's part of life. Just understand you did wrong. You obviously understand it was your fault and you did wrong. Mm-hmm. I bet you learned from it. You know, that kid will be very tight on that grip next time he picks that rod up and it's sinking.
That's how he learns.
That's how you learn. He probably will never drop a rod over again. You know, and I didn't even I didn't yell at him or nothing. He was beating himself up. I'm not, I mean, even if he would have lost it and not beat himself up, I still don't, I would have never yelled about it. I'm going to get my money off of this thing because Dad's already, you know, they all pay for it. They all know they're in the wrong when it goes over, you know. Yeah. So it is what it was, you know. I just had to go get a new rod. It's the only downfalls. I had to go and buy a new one and restring it. It is what it is.
Which takes some time.
At the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah, that happens.
It happens.
That's fishing. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, and I've only had one. It's like one a year maybe goes overboard. You know.
I don't think I've ever had a rod go overboard on my boat.
No.
But no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe once.
I'm more afraid when these people, like when we cook a fish and this rod doesn't have a fish on it, this one does. And these people go to reel it in and they don't realize that these fish might hit this thing on the way in.
Oh yeah, and they're just kind of like...
Yeah, they don't realize that this thing might go tight on you and it's just going to start ripping, you know. And I tell them, make sure you hold on to that rod when you're reeling that in. And sure enough, I'd probably say half the time somebody hooks up on the way in, you know, just trying to reel that line in. I just wanted to get my side out there.
Well, I think we, like, I'm trying to think of all the comments I've read and like what people were saying, and I think we pretty much touched every point on.
Yeah, I mean, I touched as much as I probably could about it that I can think of, you know.
I'm interested what the comments on this video are going to be like. Yeah,
I'm actually interested in some of these people that are making their own videos telling, you know, saying, oh, I would do this, I would do that. You can't yell at the kids like that. You can't do this. You should be, that's unprofessional, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, there's been a lot of podcasts of people talking mad smack.
I saw one where the guy said, we better be shutting the motor off while you're offshore. Oh my God. All that does, I just laugh. It's just hilarious how these people think they know what they're doing. Half of these captains, you know, talking about it or saying they would shut the motor off are flats guys.
Yeah, which is a different situation.
Completely different situation.
Yeah, the flats guys turn their motors off. They're also not adrift.
You can swim to shore.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You're in cell phone range, by the way. You're in VHF range. Everything's good. I mean, everything's golden. It's not hard to get out of that situation. Get 30 miles offshore and see how hard it is to get out of a situation when the boat doesn't work. You know, you might be waiting for dark so you can shoot a flare off.
Yeah. Oh man, I've always wanted to shoot a flare off. You ever get to shoot one off?
No.
Nah, me neither.
I never needed to. I don't want to. I mean, it'd probably be cool, but
I always have like expired flares, and then I'm always like, I'm going to shoot these off.
Yeah, but I never create. Yeah, we don't want to create. You know, all of a sudden, all these things show up looking for you.
That big red orange helicopter comes in. You're like, oh crap! They saw the flare. They saw it.
Oh, he shot it from over there.
Yeah, that boat over there.
But yeah, I definitely wanted to once again say that everybody supporting me that is looking through, you know, sees right through the way the video was made, much appreciated. Keep the support coming. I love it.
Yeah, and leave a comment on this video. I'm sure you'll be reading the comments. I'm interested.
I'm trying to keep up with them.
Yeah, there's so many of them, thousands.
Yeah,
so
way too many. There's 14,000 on the dude who made the video. Under that original
14,000 comments?
14,000 comments.
On that one video, wow.
Yeah, you got weeks worth of reading there, buddy.
And then there's like a TikTok with like, what, 5 million views or something crazy?
Oh, that was as of yesterday morning, I think.
Damn, so that's so insane.
Yeah.
I want to pull those kind of numbers.
Yeah, I want to say it was on there for a day and a half. It hit 5, and it was yesterday morning, so I haven't.
Damn, I'm going to take some kids fishing. Hey, you got a kid that you want to take fish, wants to send him fishing on my boat? I'm ready there. Yeah, so I'll go with him. Yeah, overboard with that kid. I'm like, there's my 10 million views. Take off.
How dare you throw that kid over?
They'll be like, are you going to go back and pick him up? It was a joke, right? I'm like, nah, he'll be fun.
Yeah, he's fun.
I threw a water Gatorade with him.
Oh my God. I mean, even me growing around, I mean, I grew up around commercial fish, commercial
guys are ruthless.
Dude, oh my God. From the shrimpers to the longliners, dude. I mean, that's where do you think the whole cuss like a sailor comes from? It comes from being on the water so much. Non-stop, days and days and days on the water. You realize, if a captain is going to take the feelings of the customer over, Like if I'm too scared to hurt his feelings, so I can't yell at him over the safety of the vessel. I don't want to be on that boat.
Yeah, and that was another thing people mentioned in the comments a lot was that like they're like, you're in the service industry, you should never yell at a customer and all this, and like that is true. You know,
Safety is number one. Customers' feelings will always be number two.
But it's different if you're like working at a Wendy's
or
or
in
something.
a restaurant. The customer's always right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. No problem. Here you go. Here you go.
But
100%.
But you're offshore with a big blender on the back of the boat, and the boat can sink.
Anything can
People
go
can
wrong.
fall off the boat.
Anything can go wrong. Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I want to say this morning or yesterday morning, I saw a newscast of, I want to say it was a FGCU student, a college student, where they were on a boat doing, I don't know if it was some kind of a class trip or just a bunch of people hanging out, but it was like, I think there was like a dozen of them, 12 or 13 people on this boat, or over 10, I think. And I don't know if it was at night. It might have been at night, but the kid went overboard. Somehow the kid ended up overboard, and it's not like they just turned around and picked him up. They found the missing body the next day. It was like he fell over. They couldn't find him, and then the next day they found him, but it was already too late. That's a situation I'm not going to get in.
Yeah, and it happens.
And I'm
so
going to make
fast.
sure I have control of my boat so that doesn't happen. You know, whether I have to yell at somebody and hurt their feelings, it is what it is. It will never get physical, but it'll always go to the dock before it ever got physical. But I won't be scared to tell somebody how it is. You know, I grew up telling it how it is, not beating around the bush. I tell you how I feel at that moment. I'm not gonna lie to you and try to sugarcoat your feelings. You know, if your feelings are hurt because of the truth, then it is what it is. I want you to tell me the truth. I want you to be straightforward with me, because you're never gonna hurt my feelings over telling me the truth.
Yeah.
Ever. So that's the way I live my life. You know, I'm gonna tell it how. You know, I won't be afraid to speak the truth if the truth needs to be told. It is what it is. You know.
It is what it is.
At the end of the day, it is what it is.
Nice.
And I don't have to apologize to any, you know what I mean? I did my apologies to the guy at the time. He apologized to me. I don't have to apologize to anybody else at this point. You know what I mean? I'm not apologizing to them. Oh, you need to do this, or you need to do... It's done and over with. We did the apologies. We finished the trip out. He tipped me. I gave him fish, and he went home. Done.
Yeah.
So,
and then the video is all the aftermath, like just
100%.
A little unnecessary, but
if you'd have seen the minute before, I think a lot more people would have been on my side off the rip. Tight lines,
fish on, and welcome to the Keys, baby.
thanks for your support.
All right, perfect, done. Bam!